So there are two basic types of personal interviews. First is structured and unstructured. In a structured interview, the interviewer asks a set of prepared questions in a pre-decided order, and the questions provide the respondent with a range of possible answers. In an unstructured interview, the interviewer asks questions based on the answers given by the respondent. The respondent is given a degree of freedom to answer the questions asked by the interviewer in an unstructured interview. The data gathered in a structured interview are easier to analyze than data from unstructured interviews because it is not structured. So which contain more details and need more time to analyze. Nothing is prepared, one thing follows another. Like one question is asked to the interviewee, then based on his answer, second question is asked. So steps are as follows. First of all, select a sample of respondents. First of all, we need to select sample for responses or who will be our respondent. So we need to select sample from population. Construct a interview guide or schedule for the study. Prepare a list of respondents. Prepare the or train the interviewer or train yourself. Whoever the interviewer is, they need to be trained first what they are going to ask, in which manner, how many questions, if it is structured. And if it is unstructured, then they also need to prepare. It will be revolving around certain things or what they will be. So they need to prepare in advance. Collect the data by calling upon the respondents and analyze the data received from the respondents. So the advantage of personal interview is that it gathers data in a face-to-face situation and interviewers can collect additional information through observation. For example, when an interviewer interviews a sample of slum children, he or she can observe the surrounding conditions of the area, of that slum area. And they can record the facilities such as water taps, road conditions, sanitation, electricity, etc. Personal interviews are the best method of data collection among illiterate respondents because you can ask them, they don't need to write answers. You will ask and they will answer your questions. So, personal interviews are the best method of data collection among illiterate respondents. Questionnaires can be given only to respondents who are literate. So, the biggest disadvantage of the personal interview is its cost. It involves considerable transportation and labor cost, and many interviewers are needed to interview a large sample, and it takes time as well because you need to interview people one by one. Self-administered questionnaire. As name indicates, it is completed by the respondent herself or himself. It can be completed by giving out the questionnaire in person to the respondent, mailed or sent through whatever the medium. The respondents independently read the questions and answer them as per their understanding. The main advantage of self-administered questionnaire is its low cost associated in administering this method. Also, respondents can fill it up at their convenience. Whenever they have time, whenever they are comfortable, they can fill it up. Can ponder over their responses, what to write, what to answer, give frank opinion. on issues that would have warranted socially acceptable responses. But there are evident disadvantages of this method as well. Low rate of response. Somebody else filling up the questionnaire, it happens sometimes. Gathering data with respondents with low literacy are some of the major disadvantages. So, or incomplete responses may be the other limitation. Mail surveys involve mailing a self-administrable questionnaire to a sample of respondents. Mail surveys are also called postal surveys. They can cover a wide geographic area at a fairly low cost. Stamped reply paid envelopes are enclosed to encourage the respondents to mail the completed questionnaires back to the researcher at the earliest. Mail surveys can be used to gather a lot of data with minimum expenditure of time and cost. So, steps of conducting a mail survey are as follows. First of all, as usual, we will select a sample of respondents where we will be conducting our study. Who will be our respondents? So, first of all, we need to select a sample for our purpose. Construct the questionnaire for the study, which is already constructed by this stage. Write a covering letter requesting the respondents to answer the questionnaire. Assemble the covering letter, questionnaire, and stamped reply envelopes into a package. Mail the surveys. Then you will mail them. Monitor the return of the questionnaires. How many questionnaires are returned, how many are yet to be returned. So they need to keep record of this. Send reminders if you don't receive responses and follow-up letters to those who failed to answer. And finally, tabulate and analyze the data received. So the advantage of mail survey lies in its ability to cover a wide demographic area at a reasonable cost. They can reach respondents in remote places which would be difficult and expensive to reach. Respondents can answer without being present before the researcher and in a setting that is comfortable to them. But mail surveys have some disadvantages also. They are the slowest form of data collection. Researchers may never know who exactly answered the questionnaire. It may be completed by one person or by more than one person. Maybe sometimes respondent give it to someone else, please fill it up because I don't have time or some other thing. So they ask someone to fill it up on their behalf. So it may be completed by one person. For instance, a busy official may pass the questionnaire to the secretary for providing the questionnaire or completing the survey. Next, telephone surveys. Telephone surveys are carried out by telephoning the respondents. Telephone surveys and personal interviews need trained members in a research team. Usually, telephone surveys are conducted with people who may not respond to mail surveys and are difficult to interview personally, such as politicians, celebrities, diplomats, business heads, and policy makers. In phone interview, the researcher must have well-equipped phone surveying facilities and the equipment needed to record and transcribe responses. They are faster than mail surveys but are more costly than mail surveys. So data collection is immediate, but the duration of the interview must be kept short. The general list of steps are given. Select a sample of respondents. Then questionnaire for the study is required, list of numbers to call, preparation of interviewer, collect the data by telephoning the respondents, call back, send reminder, follow up if necessary or required. Finally, analyze the data. The advantage of telephone survey is that it is a relatively faster method of data collection at a reasonable cost. Interviewers can also clarify the doubts of respondents, which is not possible in mail surveys. One of the main disadvantages of telephone survey is that not everyone has a phone. Many may have numbers that are not listed in telephone directory, but some numbers are listed wrongly. Like official numbers often change and they are not updated as well. So this is a problem. Online social surveys have become a common way of collecting data in the last couple of decades. Online, where you don't need to go anywhere, you just send and get it filled. When the respondents are not large in number and homogeneous, online users group, a survey can be administered through emails, which is called a email survey. Cheapest method, both in terms of time and money. So this questionnaire can be sent as embedded text as the main body of the mail or sent as an attachment. The attachment questionnaire can be only written text or interactive in nature. When there is a large group of online users, web service is carried out. So the respondent is directed to a website in order to answer a questionnaire that can be completed online. Group administration is another survey method that combines the features of mail surveys and personal interview. In a group administered survey, the respondents are gathered together in a convenient location. They are then requested to fill the questionnaire in the presence of the researcher within the specified time. The filled in questionnaires are then collected by the researcher for analysis. For example, we can collect data from girl students studying science by gathering them in a college premises. The group administration method has the advantages of lower cost as in a mail survey and increasing the response rate as in an interview. It also has the advantage of being a face-to-face approach where interviewers can clarify the doubts of the respondents. Another disadvantage of the group administered survey is that not all respondents can be gathered together at one location. The researcher can select a single survey method of data collection or use a combination of methods according to the money, time and resources available. So there may not be one approach which is best. It depends what suits you, what suits a researcher. So the researcher must use his or her judgment to select methods through which they can complete their work. For example, half the questionnaires can be collected through group administration, while some can be posted collected through mail server as per requirement. While both methods are relatively expensive, group administration is faster and a higher response rate than mail surveys. So group administration is popular for data collection among literate respondents, while interviewing is preferred or for collecting data among rural and illiterate respondents. We will talk about phases in survey research in our next session.